All right, so I'm just warning you. I'm feeling a little spicy today. So this is like my I think the video title for this is going to be like the three types of people in the hobby who frustrate me or annoy me. I don't know. I haven't figured it all out yet. I'm just recording and I'm just going to go, okay? I'm going to try to keep this around 10 minutes to try to keep it short. So I'm currently in the edit bay of my post show of the Landers Rips card show. I had a video earlier where I talked about my pre-show plans and thoughts. And so these are my thoughts post-show. For the most part, I got to say, it was a fantastic time. I haven't dealt in a long time. Again, like 7 months since last August. It's currently mid-March. And I had a great time. I really did. I thought the venue, it was a little warm. It was a little warm, but I mean, anytime a venue is a little warm, I think it's because there's a lot of people there. You don't want it to be frigid cold because that means there aren't a lot of people there and the AC's cranked up. But I do think that from a comfort level, it could have been a little bit cooler. But that's not the type of person who annoys me. Landers Rips, you did a great job. For the most part, I would say 90%, 90 to 95% of the people who I interacted with or engaged with were fantastic. And it was good to kind of see my DMV community. But as you know, I provide my entire hobby journey, the good, bad, and the ugly. So I have to get 226 minutes, which is almost 4 hours of a 5 hour show plus pre-show and post-show. I gotta bring that down to 30 to 45 minutes, something really digestible. I don't want to make two parts out of it. I just want to do one part. I just want to make one vlog, not two, and I just want to make it digestible. So having said that, I want that vlog. I have to come up with like a theme. I have to come up with different chapters or different like segments. And that's the way I kind of create my vlogs. I just have to think of like what's the overarching theme, and I just try to cut vignettes or highlight some certain interactions to try to provide some comprehensive story in general. It's not easy, but it's getting a little bit easier. I don't know. I have long edits, and if you see my stuff, you understand that, and you probably like the long edits. The people who don't like my long edits, they are not going to give me a second chance, and I get that. Um, but here's the thing. So for let me say this before I get to the three types of people who annoy me. From a money standpoint, I know in the past I talked about how to recoup the cost of eBay fees if it's $100 table. This show was $40 tables, but it would be $700. I did more than $700, but that's gross. It is not net. So meaning, yes, I sold more than $700 worth of cards at the show. But if you're into a $100 card for $95, you're not making $100. You're only making $5, right? So I won't get into that right now because as I'm editing, that's where I'm trying to figure out, okay, how much money did I actually gross? Because I actually didn't write it down. I told myself I'll bring a pen and pad. I would bring, write the number of people who walked by, stopped by, negotiated, and bought. I actually forgot a pen and pad. I forgot my charger. I mean, I didn't have the right charger cord. Going from like US, like the iPad charger is different from the iPhone 14 charger. Anyway, as you could tell, I'm a little frustrated at myself. But also, yeah, the audio kind of sucked. All this stuff. So I'm just venting. I'm just getting all this stuff out now because I am kind of like frustrated at myself for the lack of uh, ability to provide like a really great vlog. I think so. I'm cobbling it together. I'm doing my best, but I wanted to share my thoughts that yeah, it's there's some hiccups and frustrations along the way with myself. Now, people, um, because I have so much footage, I am figuring out it would be great to call out the bad actors or the not like the scammers. And no one stole anything from my table, at least from what I could see so far. I haven't gone through all 4 hours of tape, but it seems like everyone was pretty respectful for the most part. But there are some interactions where I was watching and I'm like, man, I wish I said something. Like, do you ever get that where you're like, man, someone was backhand complimenting you or saying something, to diss you, and then you're like, man, it's like in Seinfeld when George is like, yeah, the jerk store called and they're all out of you, something like that. So I kind of wish there were some interactions where I'm like, man, I wish I had said something to clap back at the trolls. They weren't trolls though; they were just like some people who were just saying just kind of some dumb things. But here's the thing: I have so much tape. I'm trying to figure out which interactions to keep and which interactions to cut on the cutting floor, that at the edit floor. And so I may keep some of this, what I'm about to talk about, but I also might not. So since I don't know, I'm just going to talk it out. And then I think for the most part, I want to have a vlog that's kind of like, fun, positive, keeps the energy high and all that stuff. So let me go ahead and talk about that. Those are the only things I wanted to talk about for the rest of this video. Okay. So thank you for watching up to this point. You didn't hear about the 3 types of people in the hobby that frustrate me until now, but we're going to go. And then once I'm done with those 3, I'm done. So the very first type of person who really frustrates me in the hobby is the millennial slash Gen Zer who tries to tell me, who's a Gen Xer slash older millennial, about 90s cards or pre-Panini cards. And they talk as if they know what they're talking about. Like they almost talk like with authority because they're trying to sell. And they have this way of like trying to seem really confident about what they're saying. And they don't know. They actually don't know. They didn't grow up with those cards. And that's not to say if you're a young collector that you can't know about these cards. You just have to actually do your research. You actually have to want to learn. And it's not just about the flip. So the one interaction that I'm thinking about from this show, but I have many other examples prior to this, like such as one person who was like telling me, like in the back of a card, there's like a subset, like 5 of 10, instead of like letters or numbers, like they'll say something of something. Someone actually tried to tell me that that was the serial numbering for the card. So if it was a subset card number 5 out of 10, they're like, oh no, this is a 5 out of 10 card. Like this is serial numbered 5 out of 10. That's how crazy some of these people are when they come up to me. And I can't even tell if they actually are lying to themselves and they actually believe it, or if they are trying to catch someone who's unsuspecting. I don't like those type of people. Another type of person who was like trying to tell me the parallel numbering of orange refractors and red refractors and gold refractors. They're like, oh, it's this, it's this, it's this, and I'm like, it's kind of different from year to year with Topps Chrome before they lost the license. And I was like, I think that might not be right. And they're like, no, 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 I'm right. And I'm like, just Google it up and I go, okay, now are you happy? You can see that it's different every year. And they refuse to even acknowledge that they were wrong. And that's the other thing that bugs me. People who refuse to acknowledge when they're wrong, even when you show them incontrovertible proof that, okay, look, here's what the checklist says, here's what the internet says. Anyway, so in this particular show, one person came up to me with a complete set of the 92-93 Beam team. It was the entire complete set, and it was of members only. Okay, and I was like, wow, I didn't expect this to come to my table. And I was really excited to try to deal with it. They wanted 1,100 for it. Now, with any raw card, you want to see the condition and all that. If it was a gem mint, if every card in that set was gem mint, yeah, 1,100 sounds maybe actually like a bargain. I don't know. Having said that, the overwhelming majority of that set is the value is going to be weighed with the Jordan and the Shaq, right? So I was trying to figure out what's the condition of the Shaq and the Shaq and the Jordan. And I was kind of like talking back and forth with the potential, the seller, the walker, and they were trying to tell me how their grandfather pack pulled, and then he was given this whole big collection of his grandfather's cards, and he had to actually go find every single card within the collection, and then he says, "Oh, I have the binder too." So you're telling me, again, the story wasn't adding up, and I wish I had said it a little bit more strongly because I wasn't asking the right questions. I was so like fixated at the cards, the condition, the value, what I could get it at, and the members only set from Topps Stadium Club, the Beam Team set, is literally sold as a set. It was not pack pulled. You cannot pack pull this card. I actually mentioned that to the guy, and he was like, no, 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 this is pack pulled by my grandfather. You tell me in what world this would have been pack pulled. It was false. Okay, like I was thinking about it. I was editing the video, and I'm like, there's no way. It could have been bequeathed to him by his grandfather. I don't know, but it's not pack pulled, and the stamp with the members only. It's actually less. It's not, the more valuable cards are the non-members only. It's interesting, right? Because you would think that something that has a stamp or a foil would maybe be more valuable. It's less valuable. So this person was trying to argue to me that it's more valuable, that it's more valuable because it's a complete set, and that he had to, find it from various parts of the collection to get him the complete set. But also having the binder, he's like, he didn't have the binder with him, but he was like, I have the binder. I want to sell it with the binder, but I don't have it with me. And I'm like, when's the next time I want to see you? I've never met you before. We have no rapport. We have no prior interactions or relationship. So everything about that interaction, the story just wasn't adding up. And so I might include it, not to call the guy out and say, don't deal with this guy. He's a scammer. He's not. I don't think he's a scammer. I just think that some people try to provide this sort of narrative and try to sell people on, the idea of a card or a set. And I just did not think that that was, it wasn't the right story. It was, things were off about it. And ultimately, I will say my final offer to that seller was $600. He wanted $650, coming down from $1,100. I saw the Jordan. It was in brutal shape. I mean, there was like, I'm not just talking about the stamp with the members only, but there was corners issues, edge issues, surface issues. And again, like that one card alone is like, I don't even know what the number is, but like 80% of the entire set value, and then the shack is like 15%. So we're talking about a lot of the value of that set is coming from like one card. And I'm sorry if I have the numbers off. I know there's a Olajuwon, Barkley, all this Dominique Wilkins. Like I love that set. It's when I was pack pulling cards myself. Um, I'm so glad I didn't make the deal. I'm so glad that the guy didn't say, fine, you have a deal at 600. I didn't like the vibe. Something was off. And again, because I'm not a seasoned, grizzled veteran vendor, I gave it, I think, way too much time of day. Like he came back, he's like, "Oh, I'm gonna go shop it around." And some other vendor or some other walker was telling me, "Oh yeah, that guy's walking around with this thing. He's been walking around with it, and he's telling the same story, and the cards are bad condition." So I was like, man, I really dodged a bullet there. But please, if you're younger, but not even younger, like even if you're older, please don't talk as if you know exactly what you're talking about at all times. Like I there's some things that I feel like I do know, but I would never purport to know more than I actually do. And so I just wanted to say, like, it's just it comes down to like reputation, and like I don't think I would ever deal with that person again. I like to give second and third chances, but like what that person tried to do, I'm like, you know what? I'm not cool with that. So again, if you watch my show vlog, I may or may not keep it in. I think I'm erring on the side of keeping it in just from an educational standpoint, because like you'll see, like, just you might see that the something was off. All right, how you doing? Yeah, I know you're worried about me. Anytime I make the videos where I'm like stressed out, she comes to me. Um, Number two, okay. So this is the second type of person in the hobby that frustrates me, and it is ungrateful kids. Okay, so I had a bunch of cards to give away to kids. I had like small little packs that had base cards. I had slabs. I had like, just a big old box of just stuff. And so one of the things I want to do was, if you bought a card from me at my table, you can get a free, pull from this box of free cards. And for kids, even if you didn't buy from me, I was like, hey, do you want a pull? You want a free pull? Just give me a number 1 to 30. And again, you'll see this in the card show vlog. I don't think I'm going to keep the content in where the ungrateful kids came by, because that one I kind of feel bad, because I'm not trying to make, I don't want to like diss a kid. So I will say it in this video without showing you who they were. Not just one, not just two, but three. And I think maybe they were all in the same group. But three kids came up to me saying, not immediately when they got the card, but after they left the table. And some of them didn't even say thank you. They just like walk away. They like come up to you, hey, you're buying, okay, walk away. No, okay, they leave. But they literally would come back and go, hey, I don't, can I get a different card or can I select another number? Like, and it's like, one of the kids was like, can I respin? And I thought it might make good content, to show like, this kid being like, oh, it's funny, like kind of respinning the wheel and the gambling aspect of the hobby. But no, this kid was like, I kind of like laughed and I was like, oh, it's kind of funny you said respin. But in hindsight, there wasn't really anything funny about it because, again, if someone gives you something for free, why are you then being like, actually, I don't want this card. I want a different card. Like, it's great that I have other cards to give away, but it was random and there was no strings attached to the card whatsoever. Other than I told them to subscribe to my YouTube, which, like, it wasn't like I was standing there being like, you better show me proof that you subscribed, right? I wasn't doing any of that. I just said, here's a sticker, here's a card. Please follow me on YouTube or something like that. So, when those kids came up and were like, I don't want this card, can I get another? First time I did oblige. Second time I was like, I don't know if I should. And then the third time I actually did. I was like, you know what? I was trying to do something nice for all of you. I'm not gonna do it. Like, I was just like, I don't want to be the jerk, but it's like anytime you show kindness or you show a little bit of like, oh, you're willing to work with someone, there are gonna be some kids, or not even kids, adults. Like, you'll see this with adults too. They'll just take advantage of your kindness. So I likely won't put those kids in the vlog, and it's not because they like, I just think maybe it's not. I did sell some cards to kids. I'll keep those kids in the vlog. And there was this one great interaction with this one kid who came up, kind of a trade up challenge, but also like trying to sell a card. And I'm kind of against trade up challenges for the most part, especially if it's an adult or a teenager. But if it's like a little kid, like, yeah, I'm willing to kind of like do something kind. I feel like I'm very generous with the DMV community and like the hobby. Having said that, man, these ungrateful kids, because if you are a kid who doesn't have a lot of cards or who is new to the hobby, you will gladly accept anything and you'll say thank you and you will run away excited. Some of these kids who have like really expensive collections, like they like thumb their nose to like a $10 slab or a $20 slab. And this one kid, he did get from me a PSA auto slab. It was like of a no-name player, but I was like, it's a PSA 9 auto, and he was like, no, I want to get what my friend got. That was like a Victor Wembanyama Tops Now card in a PSA 9, and I was like, see, now I'm getting a little bit too animated. Thank you for reminding me to slow down. But the second type of person in the hobby that really annoys me or bothers me is ungrateful kids. Okay. The third, now this one I think I am going to have to keep in. I am going to have to keep this in the blog, but I'll have to keep it short. So I had the millennials or Gen Zers just telling me about 90s cards, and they have no clue what they're talking about. Ungrateful kids. And I didn't mean to make this like age category dependent, but I guess it's turning out that way. It's the crusty old dude. So I had two vintage cards at my table. They were not rookies. They were Kareem and Will Chamberlain. And I had the only people who were interested in those cards were like the older dudes, and they come up and I had some decent banner with some of them about like those players and those playing days and all that stuff. But literally, I had not one but two people come up to my table and like diss the cards in front of me, like saying like, oh, this is a PSA 4, like this is not a PSA 4, like this is a generous PSA 4, or oh, I wouldn't pay that amount for that card, or oh, that's too expensive, or oh, like this is not, not even close to what you're looking for. And I'm like, like, you're trying to be nice, right? I'm as a vendor, again, I haven't done it in a while, but my goal was to try to be as respectful and have a friendly environment and atmosphere and have people come in, welcome them in, and be like, active, friendly, talkative, generous, all that stuff. Then you just have these cranky old crusty dudes who just want to come and they just want to look at your cards and just like criticize your cards. Like, at one point, and I may keep this in, but I was like, sir, thank you so much. It's not for you. And that was my nice way of being like, get out of here. Like, I don't care. Like, please leave. Like, your energy is so negative and so bothersome to me that I do not want to interact with you. And there are, like, very rarely was I sitting down with like a phone or an iPad because I was trying to get the Wi Fi to work and my comp tool isn't working. That's a whole nother thing. But very rarely was I at the table with someone in front of me standing at the table and me just kind of like buried, my face buried in the phone or the iPad trying to figure something out. For the most part, I would engage, I would be friendly, I would just talk to people. And I know not everyone's going to give you the same grace and the compassion and friendliness. I get that. Some people who just wanted to walk by, just look and leave. I didn't bother them at all. I just said, okay, like this person, I can tell they just want to like look at cards and not engage. Totally fine with me. But it's the dudes who come up and are just like, look, they take one look and go, oh no. It's like you can already see in their face, has like this like they smell like a like a wet fart. It's like this disdain. And by the way, like I'm Asian, like I don't have a deodorant problem, like I don't have a smelly body problem. Like straight up, I know people say, oh, these card shows have smelly people. Like I'm actually one of the people who's like a neutral odor. Okay, at least that's what I like to tell myself, and that's what my family tells me. Anyway, look, the more important thing, like this smelly little creature, you're smelly. You need a bath, don't you? You need a bath. All right, here's the thing. These old crusty people, they will never change. There's nothing and they will not be watching my YouTube content. Like I know my demographic is mostly like 30 to 45 or whatever it is, but these are like, I mean, these guys were like in their like 60s and they're set in their ways. They're going to be cranky. They're going to be crusty people. And I get that. And they're not going to afford me any grace or compassion. They just want to look at cards, and it probably isn't just my table, right? It's not me. It's not me. It's them and their crankiness, and they want to go to other tables. I'm sure they did this. They go to other tables and they'll look and they'll go, oh, I don't like that. And they'll have that look of disgust. They're like, like, no, that card's not worth it. It's like, I don't want you at my table. Like I will that is when I will bury my face in my phone or in my iPad. I wish I had a newspaper because then I would just be rifling through and I'd just be like, shh, just I wish I had a good way to show that to you. No, I don't want to do that to you, the listener, the watcher. But you know what I mean. Like there are some people who are just not going to. Doesn't matter what you say or what price. I remember at one point I was like, "What? Do you want this thing for $10?" And it was like a over $100 card. And it's like, "Oh no, it's worth more than $10." And I'm like, "Yeah, of course it is." I was being sarcastic. But yeah, these are the people who annoy me. Again, I didn't mean it for it to be like age group dependent or age categories. But look, man, if you are like a Gen Zer who's like a flipper, you're in your 20s, don't try to flip to a 40-year-old and try to tell them what you know about pre Panini Topps Chrome and like talk about what you know about and like all this stuff. Like you think you know about the 90s. Like you may. And please, if you do, like I will buy from you. Like we can have a great conversation. We can engage. And there are some people who I dealt with who with 90s cards, whether it was buying or selling, and we had a great time chatting. You'll see that in the vlog. This was my complaint box. This is my post-show edit bay thoughts, complaining about three types of people in the hobby. So yes, the Gen Zers, whatever it is, please don't do that. I guess what are these kids, the young kids, the younger than Gen Z, Gen Alpha, whatever it is. It's the kids in the hobby who are like, teens or tweens, whatever. And then they're just like, oh, a free card? Like, I don't want this card. Like, can I get another card? It's like, just be happy with what you got. It's free, please. So I think I might have to not do a free box. I don't know. I'm thinking about it. I'm thinking about what to do. And then, of course, last but not least, I just talked about it. The crusty old dude who is just there to neg and neg and neg. I don't want you at my table. Like it like makes me want to like you do this like yeah, I want to do that too, but I'm trying to be nice. So I'm going to just say it's not for you. Please move on. So anyway, that's it. I just want to get my thoughts out. I actually feel a lot better doing that. So hope you enjoyed, and yeah, have a great day in the hobby, and look out for my card show vlog coming out soon.